Welcome back to another day of geometry. This warm-up problem right now is going to be dealing with what was dealt in the previous video, which is special right triangles. And as a reminder, just so we can be on the same page, we have two kinds of triangles that are special right triangles. We have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and that 30, 60, 90 triangle is something that looks like this, where you have 60 degrees, 30 degrees, and your 90. And so we said yesterday that, hey, if I have the hypotenuse, we call that x, the short leg, or the one across from the 30 degrees, is 1/2 of that length. And the long leg is always taking the square root of 3 times whatever the short leg is. And so that's one relationship that we established. And the other kind of triangle that we have was a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And this was where you had an isosceles triangle or an isosceles right triangle. And in this instance, if you have one leg that is x, I know that the other leg also has to be x, as this is an isosceles triangle. And therefore, if I were to multiply the relationship that we have is that the hypotenuse of that triangle is going to be x times the square root of 2. So given that piece of information, I'm going to pause the video and let you go through and try and identify what are the missing lengths given these triangles. Let's see what you came up with. In the first one, we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. The hypotenuse is 16, so half of that is 8. So that would be the length of the short leg. Then the long leg is taking whatever that short leg is times the square root of 3, so that's how I got 8 root 3. On problem number 2, that's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Is both x and y are the same length as indicated by this tick mark here and this tick mark here. So if I know that this is 8 root 2, well, I had to multiply that by the square root of 2 to get this length, so that would be 8 for both of those side lengths. Number 3 and 4, you could just use the Pythagorean theorem. You should get 13 and 800. Those are called Pythagorean triples, something that we're not going to spend a whole lot of time with. But number 5, this is another 45, 45, 90 triangle. This is 45, so is this angle down here. Therefore, both of these have to be the same measurement, and I'd multiply by the square root of 2 in order to get to that length. And then lastly over here, when I have 12 divided by the square root of 2, I took whatever the hypotenuse is and I went backwards by dividing by the square root of 2 in order to get those two missing side lengths. That's essentially where I came up with those two responses. And today what we're going to do is we're going to learn another relationship of triangles, and especially a set of triangles when I don't have a right angle. But this warm-up problem is just hitting on these ideas of 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 special triangles, which are used just as shortcuts to help us find missing angle measurements. So the directions on number 83, or the problem before it, it says, is there a tool that you can use to find angles and side lengths of non-right triangles directly? What we're going to do today is use something called the law of sines, or we're going to develop something called the law of sines. So it says in problem 83, is there a relationship between a triangle side and the angle across from it? For example, assume that the triangle is not drawn to scale here, but based on the angle measures, which side must be the longest? Well, first of all, if I don't know that angle, I should be able to find it. That should be 12 degrees, as it would make 180 degrees, and adding all three of those together. But what they're trying to get across is that an angle, the angle that's the largest, the side length across from it should be the longest. So if I have 105 degrees for that, BC should be the longest side length, as that has the angle that is opening up to it as the largest angle. This 12 degrees, the side length across from that is AC. So AC should be the shortest leg, as the angle that is opening up to that length is the smallest angle in my given triangle. And we're going to use that as we develop this idea of law of sines in the next couple of problems. So in this problem, Madeline said, hey, I don't think this diagram is drawn to scale because the side labeled X has to be longer than 4. Do you agree? Yes, I would totally agree. Because if this is 26 degrees and this is 42, the side length across from the 42 has to be larger than than the side length across from the 26 degrees. And so x therefore has to be larger than 4. And so that's really kind of reiterating the same thought that we did in the last problem. Don't worry about these last two. So in problem number 86, something to get down in your notebook. This relationship right here is called what's called the law of sines. And it says read the math notes box for this lesson to learn more about this relationship. Within this given triangle, we can use this relationship of the law of sines. And again, I'll reiterate it, that the sine of angle A divided by side length A is equal to the sine of angle B divided by side length B, where A, capital A, and capital B is an angle, and little a is a side length. And when we're dealing with all of these different capital and lowercase letters, it does make a difference what you label them. And the basis for this is if I have triangle A, B, C, notice how I'm labeling each of these vertices with a capital letter. The side length that is across from the angles are labeled with lowercase. So notice A and A are opposite each other. This would be side length B, and this would be side length C. And what the law of sines is saying is says, hey, the sine of angle A divided by side length A is equal to the sine of angle B divided by little b. And I'll show you how we can apply that here in this problem. So if you're trying to find side length x right here, I'm going to call this angle A, which would then make this little a. And I'm going to call this side length, or this angle 28 degrees B, which would make this little b. And so using the law of sines, which says sine of A over A equals the sine of B over B, I can fill in some of my information that I know and don't know. And that's going to give me the sine of 120 degrees, that's angle A, divided by x. I don't know what that is. And that should be equal then to the sine of 28 degrees divided by 10. And so now I have an equation with only one missing variable, and I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to try and solve for that side length x. So that's going to give me x times the sine of 28 degrees, and then that's going to be equal to 10 times the sine of 120 degrees. So what I want to do now is I just want to get x all alone, so I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 28 degrees, exactly like that. And so what I'm left with then, when I do that, is I have x equals 10 times the sine of 120 degrees divided by the sine of 28 degrees. And so in order to get this all by itself, what I do is I go into my calculator and I type in 10 times the sine of 28 degrees, or excuse me, 120 degrees, and I press enter. And when I press enter, I get 8.66, and then I divide that by the sine of 28 degrees. And in doing so, I get 18.45. 18.45. That would give me that side length of x. And so why is this law of sines thing useful? Well, hopefully you can recognize that this triangle that we're given is not a right triangle. And so I don't have a manner to be able to solve for these other side lengths when I'm not given a right triangle. And so this law of sines allows me to find missing angles and missing side lengths whenever I'm not given a right triangle by using this relationship of sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. And it should make sense as well that our answer was 18.45. This length A should be the longest side, as that has the biggest angle opening up to it. So go to the next slide where we're kind of summarize this thing of the law of sines. So here it says law of sines, math notes for any triangle. The ratio of the sine of an angle to the length opposite is constant, meaning you can set up any of these equations given this diagram right here, and notice again how the capital B is the angle and the side length across from that is lowercase, and so those are the relationships that we set up, called the law of sines. And it's a powerful tool, as it states, because you can use the sine ratio to solve for measures of angles and side lengths of any triangle, not just right triangles. So that's another useful tool. This will not be covered on your upcoming tests, but it will on the last test that we take of the year. So it's just kind of an introduction to what we're going to be doing in our last unit. But if you do have any questions, feel free to stop by. the office hours, and then we can just sit down and chat and go over whatever you need. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.